I had always looked at you online as somebody who was, a champion for our community, being very openly bisexual, and not giving a and being unapologetic, getting the support from mainstream, the support from your brother, Chance. And I admired that. And I feel like when we have platforms, it's important, regardless of where our career goes, to always show up and represent for our community. How hard was it to find your courage in doing so?
It wasn't an easy thing. Like, I didn't come out until I was 21, and I also say I think a big difference between me and a lot of other people that do come out, and one of the reasons why I did come out, first of all, I was like 21. So when you're 21, you're still finding yourself, but I also had a decent deal, I feel like, of success prior to 21, like through 18 to 21. So a lot of things in my life were set. Like, I had friends around me, I had a stable, like, kind of situation in terms of where I was living. Like, and of course, and I was saying this yesterday in an interview, when you come out as anything, things change around you. So, like, after I did come out, I did a lot of work with homeless youth, because a lot of people that are part of the LGBTQ get kicked out their cribs, because you lose your crib. You can lose your crib, you can lose your family, you can lose your friends around you. A lot of different things change. And just to be 100% honest, was at a point in my life where I felt like so many things for me wouldn't change. I think the biggest thing that, of course, is a thought is my career. So, like, the trajectory, like me being like, yo, I'm openly bisexual, especially being a hip hop artist, could change the looks that I get.
And in Chicago, too.
I mean, I feel like Chicago, Atlanta, full of gay people.
Yeah, but Chicago, Atlanta, hey Atlanta, we know the gays is in Atlanta. Not that everybody's gay, but Chicago, at least on the outside, that's not the narrative, or we don't think about there being a big community of gay.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we know you're
insane.
Hey, Lori, we know the mayor. I mean, yeah, we did.
There we go. Like, I'm glad that you just said like the mayor. Like, Chicago, we have always had, the Pride Parade and like so many different things. We have like a Black Pride Parade that is not getting as much support as it should. Shout out to them. In the last recent years, just in my opinion, we can always do more, but an amazing event. But we've always had, we have ballroom. I know a lot of different, different folks. Like, I think, what's my girl's name? She's gonna get mad, so I might not say her name, because if I say it wrong. You know Simone? Do you know Simone?
Which Simone? Simone Biles?
Japanese, what is her name? That hangs out with Tokyo Styles, that does, I know she's coming to Chicago for some ballroom shows. No? Okay. Well, that was a shout out right there, so if you see it. She's come out to Chicago for like ballroom. So we have like a lot of different events and whatnot. And I think there's been a community for sure that's always been visible, but maybe it's more of something that's like an inner city thing versus like LA. You just come here and you're like, oh.
So how deep into the community did you go though? Because I feel like I've dated bisexual men. It's more of like a connection with me or a connection with a man that they're talking to, but they're not like entrenched in the, community. Like, they don't go to balls, they don't go to gay clubs.
I think a big thing for me was like, and that's why I was very fortunate. Like in Chicago, again, I've been going to, the Pride Parade is something that is like a universal thing in Chicago. So it's like everybody goes to Pride. Like, it doesn't matter if you're gay. So like, since I was 13 years old, I've never missed like a Chicago Pride. And it was a big thing for all of my straight friends to go, because there's hella girls. And I'm sure that a lot of people have cracked that code, that they figured that like, yeah, if you go to a gay bar, you go, blah, you wouldn't imagine how many chicks there are. The ratio's off.
I mean, the ratio's in your favor,
it's crazy, right? So like, a lot of my friends went to that. So like, growing up, I was seeing a lot of different people, like Leela Starr, shout out to her, who's really big in the drag community. Monica B. Hill, shout out to her, that's really big in the drag community. There's just so many different people that I've met, and like at a young age, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to make different connections, and a lot of those people, even Jason Lee, helped me to this day to like be in different seats where I have done radio interviews and talked to different folks. And it is a thing where when you're younger, there's a lot of people that see the potential of what you could do. So a lot of people did help me out to get to the place that I'm at now. And it was like a lot like that in Chicago. So like, yeah, Pride, gay bars in Boys Town.
Been to Boys Town once.
Yeah, Boys Town is a great place, man. You gotta go to, there's amazing, like festivities in Boys Town, but you want to go to like Wicker is super crazy. And then downtown, when you get back to Chicago, I'll take you. It's been getting a lot.
Wait, so when you were 13 going to Pride, were you bisexual then? Like, did you know?
I wasn't openly bisexual.
But did you
until I
know
was
you were
21.
attracted to?
Yeah, of course. Like I grew up, and I think like this new album does a really good job of, I think kind of introducing people to more of what I was involved in or what I loved when I was younger in terms of like music and things like that. So like, I grew up and like a lot of my friends were seen. So like, I went to Skinner School, even though I was from the South Side, even though like I lived in, whatever neighborhood my parents made a way for me to go to this classical school that was on the other side of the city. And I met like all these different white kids that were going through emo phases, and I had like a Hot Topic phase, and like, so like a lot of my friends, even I'll never forget one of my best friends to this day, his name is Thelonious Stokes. I'll never forget, and he'll probably get mad for me saying his name, but of course he is not homophobic because he's my best friend. But I just remember being young, we were like in 6th, 5th grade, and one of my good friends, his name was Alex, and he had just came out as gay, like in 6th grade. Wow. And my friend Thelonious wasn't saying like, I don't think anything that was really that crazy, but it definitely wasn't like an inclusive expression of acceptance. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget like just telling him like, yo man, if you can't accept this kid for who he is, then like we can't be friends. And I think that I've always had those relationships, and I've always kind of been fortunate enough to be in a supporting situation and not always be as visible or vulnerable as others. So it was like a thing where I've always felt like my friends definitely been open, bisexual, gay, very young age. So I've always kind of had that comfortability in that zone, and I've never wanted to cut that off, and that's probably because I knew. You know what I'm saying?
But the reason why I ask the question is because I think there's so many people watching who will look at us as we're both really successful black men. It's not easy to be black and gay. Not easy once you're out. I think it's not easy in your mind because you think if I come out, I lose everything. If I come out or if I just show up as who I am, I'm not going to be accepted. And I feel like we both have found our own way of being successful. I never lead in sexuality, but the reason why I wanted to kind of lay that out in the forefront is because I think we both have done such a good job of showing people that you really can show up as your true authentic self, have a career, have a family, be very comfortable in your own skin, but there is a journey to get there. So at 13, you're bisexual. It takes you 8 years to come out. What was your coming out story? Because I don't really have one other than I'm gay. Like I never sat down with family. I never sat down with friends.
Well, I think that's like and I don't know exactly like how you came out, but I came out on Twitter. So that was the other advantage. So not only did I have some kind of, I think, stability in terms of like where I was in life, but it was also a thing where I had technology. So like I didn't tell my dad, I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my brother. I literally said it on Twitter and then walked in the house and then told my dad, told my mom, told my brother while we were like in Malibu in Miami for some trip that Chance was on. And yeah, I think it was like a thing where because I had that tool, it made it something where I didn't have to have those conversations like a lot of other people do or still do. And then also, again, which this isn't everybody's situations, I was thinking all these different things. I'm like, wow, you got all these reasons that you could come out and you could, kind of be this person. Don't let the idea of, I had money. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I have more money now and I wasn't super rich, but it wasn't like, again, I wasn't a kid. Like, and that's why, again, I did a lot of work with the homeless youth. Because a lot of kids lose their cribs. Like, I grew up with different kids that were sleeping on the train and maybe not even telling me because they had been kicked out their crib. You know what I'm saying? So, technology, man, it's a...
Well, it goes to show, like, coming out doesn't mean sitting down in a circle with your family holding hands and then, like, crying together. You chose social media, which is very public.
Definitely.
What was the courage? Because I just think people watching and that are learning more about you and learning more about us, I mean, their own selves, like, what did it take to build the courage to do that? Was it just a moment, or was it a self-love and self-acceptance moment, or both?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. Like, I think the biggest thing was that I was about to be 21. So it was just like a space and a time where God, I think, kind of tapped me on the shoulder. And
no pun intended, you were coming of age.
Seriously, though.
Yeah.
And that's what this project is like, a coming of age at so many different points, they're crossroads in your life. College, sexuality, job choice, entrepreneur, or going to work for someone, like all those things. And yeah, man, I think honestly, like seriously, I think God just had kind of leaned in that day and then also sheltered me. Because I was just on a hip hop interview yesterday, and something they were saying was the thing that they liked the most about my story. And it's something that I didn't really think about until damn near dude said it yesterday. He was like, you came out as openly bisexual and nobody gave a. And he was like, I've never seen that happen. Like, I've never, and that's, I feel like God really has been covering me and has been kind of showing me if there's a will to work that he could take me places. And I also learned that a lot from you. Like, I talk about you all the time. And it's actually crazy. I almost texted you the other day because I was going to say, if you text one more person and tell them to say your name, I was doing a Forbes interview. I don't think you told them to say your name. I was doing a Forbes interview and the lady asked me this last week, she's like, and I know that like you and Jason Lee like have like a great relationship, and I saw that like you guys have been getting fit, and like, and it was just a thing where it was like, you're just on this path, and like I feel you and I respect it. And again, you helped me get on Wild, and now you help me. It's like I've had these other people that also see some version of themselves in me that are helping me, and like that could make me tear up, very emotional. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, man.
I appreciate that.
Look, I got, you know what I'm saying?
Man, we're not gonna get emotional.